Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom, coming at you from snowy St Albans this morning. It is February, so that means last night the transfer window closed. So here is a little bit of a roundup of the business done by the championship teams in this January transfer window, who's come in and how I think it's going to affect their chances. We'll go from the top downwards. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leeds United. So, middle of the transfer window, Kiko Casilla came in. Everybody thinks, you know, decent signing, Peacock Farrell, young guy, pressure of the promotion running. Get this guy from Real Madrid in. Great. It looked for a long time as if they were going to be adding Dan James, brilliant left winger from Swansea. He would have fitted in perfectly in there. Gave them a little bit of help out wide, where they've ended up sometimes with Clark and Harrison, young guys in there, when they probably maybe wanted Dallas and Hernandez in there. I don't know what's happened. I'm sure we're going to find out a bit more. Apparently James was in Leeds. He did the medical. Everything was ready. And there was some faffing about with payments or a loan converting into a transfer. We're going to find out, presumably today or in the next week or so, what exactly happened. But it sounds like an almighty cock-up. And in the end, have Swansea just gone, no, screw it, we're not doing it. But I wonder... It might mean nothing, but I wonder when we get to the end of May, if Leeds don't quite make the top two, can't really see that happening. But if they don't, I wonder where they'll see this as a missed opportunity. So I guess probably thumbs down for Leeds transfer business. Then would have been a big thumbs up if they'd have got James, but they didn't quite get it done. We'll see if that has any effect or whether that already excellent first team we'll see them through. Norwich. Norwich, surprise, surprise, bringing another German. He joins the 100 Germans already at Norwich. So this is Heiser from Dynamo Dresden on an undisclosed fee, who's a left back. Daniel Farke said we were planning to do it at the end of the season and we've done it now. We had the chance to do it to acclimatise him. So probably a good thing, extra little fresh face in there. He'd mentioned that if they want to go to their three at the back and they're pulling Lewis in from left back to play the third centre back, they've now got an option wing back. Although I don't know what's happened to Paslak. I thought that was his job there. If you're a Norwich fan, let me know in the comments. But it's an extra body at Norwich. Always good to have a fresh face in. You would think their squad is fine. And the big thing was they didn't get any stupid bids for Pookie or Aarons. They would have been the most likely, you would thought, to go. So probably thumbs in the middle there for Norwich. But they'll just be pleased that no desperate Premier League club threw 15 million at Pookie, because that will always be tempting. Sheffield United, this is good. I think this is going to be my first thumbs up. Sheffield United do not operate in the same wage level or transfer fee level as a lot of the top six do. So Medine from Cardiff on loan, Dal from Everton on loan. They'd already come. They've already played, in fact. But Scott Hogan as well on loan from Villa. That's, we think, proven championship striker. Obviously, that big purple patch for Brentford, then the big signing at Villa and some injuries. So maybe some people can say, yeah, proven over how many games. But I think it's a good signing. And I think now options up front in the running. Neil Warnock was always good at this. He'd have 3, 4, 5 strikers there. It's all about getting those goals in the tight games in the running. You might, for example, you're at home to Bolton, Sheffield United this week. You might be struggling there 81 minutes. Just good to have the options. So I'm going to give Sheffield United a thumbs up there. They've now got a real nice spread of forwards. The rest of the team was functioning well already, and a bit of help for the two players who were most likely injury risks, probably Duffy and McGoldrick. There's now help for them in the number 10 position and the forward positions. Let's go to West Brom. Goodness me, I'm going to give this a big thumbs up. I said in my preview video for this weekend's games that I'm a bit worried about West Brom and all of these fixtures they have coming up. But boy, I think this is excellent. So Murphy on loan from Newcastle. We were saying, is there a way to replace Harvey Barnes? Well, if you sign 2 players, you might replace Harvey Barnes' 9 goals, 6 assists or something crazy like that in the first half of the season. So they've taken Murphy on loan from Newcastle and Montero on loan from Swansea. So there you go. You can't get one player as good as Barnes. Why not bring in 2? They've been trying to play a front 3. Rodriguez is there. Gale's there. Robson Kanu was being used. I think Sacco left recently. This is good, really good. Even better, Stefan Johansson, who was an absolute star for Fulham last year, really good at gluing together a 3-man midfield. Johansson, you had Kevin McDonald sitting, you had Tom Kearney as the playmaker, and Johansson kind of just supported both as he needed to do. I'm giving West Brom a big thumbs up with that transfer business. Still interested to see how they go over February, where they could have 7, possibly even 8 games if they win in the Cup. So, yeah, we'll see how that pans out. Middlesbrough, John Obi Mikel, we already knew about that from China. Tony Pulis loves himself a defensive midfielder there. And Van La Parra, that had already happened at the start of the month, so nothing else happening. There were some rumbles about Assombalonga going out and Gusted going out. Didn't really happen. So if you're a Borough fan, it's been a little bit bland at the moment and no extra spice in that recipe. So it's going to be same old. If you're going to get up, it's going to be churning out that Pulis ball the rest of the season. I think I'm probably a thumbs down on Borough. I would have liked to seen a nice, exciting signing in there, but second year down. Last year of parachute payments coming. Oh no, Borough only went up. Last year of parachute payments this year for Borough, I guess. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. Let's move on to Derby. They did have an interest in Matthew Pennington, who's on loan at Ipswich, my team. Flipping that loan across there, but Ipswich blocked that. Apparently Leicester were keen and Pennington was keen, so Ipswich keeping hold of him. Andy King has come in on loan. He presumably won the championship there with Leicester. Experience in the centre midfield around people like Wilson and Mount, who always get mentioned. I know you've got Craig Bryson in there, Tom Huddlestone. Bit of extra experience in there. Don't know how the legs are, but we will see how King pans out for Leicester. Bristol City, really nothing doing. Again, linked with Assombalonga. Obviously, they did the Casey Palmer loan switch, which has worked out quite well. Bristol City are looking fine with their squad at the moment, performing very well. Blackburn, the same. You'd say Bristol City and Blackburn are the 2 form teams. They are also on 4 straight wins in the league. So I guess I have to give thumbs in the middle to Derby, Bristol City and Blackburn, although you always would want that extra player coming in. You don't know whether the money's there. Right, Forest, carnage, chaos at Forest. Pele in from Monaco, Portuguese centre midfielder. Quite the European pedigree. Whenever I see AC Milan in a player's clubs, it always pricks my attention up. So don't know whether he goes in with Colback or Guediora or Jacob or what's happening with all those centre midfielders they've got sitting there. So that will be interesting to see what O'Neill does there. Bonatini, very interesting player. Brilliant until December the 4th. For Wolves last season, scored maybe 12-13 goals, really hammered to the top of the scoring charts, and then didn't score for the rest of the season. So extra option with Graben up there. Maybe they could go to a 2 if they need to at the end of games now. Interesting to see how that pans out. Hopefully they get the first half of the season he had at Wolves, not the second half. And we knew that Benalouane had already come in from Leicester, the centre half. So O'Neill definitely bringing in his own faces. Just massive turnaround of players at Forest. Finally for the top 10, Villa. Tyrone Mings comes in on loan. You would have thought he's going to go straight in over Neil Taylor at left back. Bit more physical presence, perhaps a little bit better on the ball. We shall see. Guilbert from Caen, he's coming on loan, but he's going straight back to Caen for the rest of the season. Interesting one, this Tom Carroll on Swansea, from Swansea rather, on loan. I think that's really good. You cannot get a more Dean Smith player than Tom Carroll. He's a proper playmaker. Just when I saw him this season, just sat in the centre midfield, keep keep the ball moving, keep him recycle it. He'll be able to follow Smith's instructions exactly. A bit of a surprise one, because I think the link was Leroy Fer and not Tom Carroll. Right, that's the top 10. Let's skirt through the rest of the league quickly. Birmingham, there was some interest in Che Adams, so if he gets up to 20 goals, expect those Premier League clubs to be back with big money in the summer. Hull bringing Liam Ridgewell, free agent, who was at the Portland Timbers, 34. Hull have been in great form. It's more about their front three, though, Bowen, Grzycki and Campbell up front there. Don't know whether Ridgewell will get minutes or whether he's there as cover and experience and an extra face until the end of the season. Stoke, Sam Vokes, in a kind of weird swappy thing. Undisclosed fee, 29 years old, from Burnley. Definitely one of these League 1.5 players. Can't score in the Premier League, but pretty good in the Championship. 22 goals in 13-14 with Burnley. 16 in 15-16. Both promotion seasons, though, so playing in good teams there. It'd be interesting to see. Haven't seen a Nathan Jones-Stoke team yet, so I can't really say I'm an expert on how they're going to play him, but certainly on the end of crosses for Sean Dyche was his gimmick there. Eric Peters went back he's gone to France from left back. We expected possibly Jonas Knudsen to come out of Ipswich, but remember that was a Gary Rowett link from the start of the season, so maybe Jones not interested. Sheffield Wednesday, Steve Bruce has brought in 3 straight away. Dominic Iorfa from Wolves. I think that's permanent, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments there. I haven't double-checked that. I know all about him. He was on loan at Ipswich last season. Very tall, rangy. Kind of doesn't seem to know whether he's a right-back or a centre-back. Does he have the concentration to play centre-back? Does he have the ball skills to play right-back? Certainly a fine physical specimen of a man. Like I say, very tall and rangy, reasonable pace. You would think he'd be perfect as a right-sided third centre-back, but whenever you end up saying that about players, you're basically saying, oh, is he good enough to be centre-back? Is he good enough to be full-back? I think he comes in and plays full-back for Sheffield Wednesday in the right-back spot, and possibly Lazar is going to play the other fullback. He's on loan from Newcastle, as well as Rolando Aarons, who's going to be playing on the wing, we think. Although Steve Bruce has a history of 3-5-2. So we shall see whether Iorfa, Lazar get used as wing-backs. Who knows? Wigan have bought in, excuse me the pronunciation, Bangin Minmay on loan from Everton. He joins his brother. He's going to be a midfielder there. He's going to join his brother, who's in the development squad at Wigan. Did Wigan do Will Grigg in the end out? And James? No, they did James Vaughan out, possibly. Yeah. So not much else happening there at Wigan. Bolton. Callum Connolly has come in on loan. He's another one of these Everton players who gets shopped around along with Pennington and Dowell. Everton reserves would be a really good Championship team, wouldn't they? I think Connolly can be a good player. I don't... he played a lot of centre midfield for Ipswich. He played full-back for Wigan. I think you get the best out of him centre midfield, to be honest. Although, and I can't remember the guy's name, who's a bit of a mouthy centre midfielder for Bolton. I don't know what he offers you above him. And finally, Ipswich bringing a right back. My God, Luke Chambers played there for about 100 years. He's a centre half. Then we had Jordan Spence kind of coming in and covering, and that ship looks like it's sailed now. Matthew Pennington, centre-half's been covering out there. So it looks like Bree will go straight in the team and hopefully offer a bit more balance. Let me know what you think of these transfers in the comments. My view is you give big thumbs up to West Brom. That looks like excellent additions. And do you think Leeds have missed a trick not getting in Dan James? What about Carroll at Villa? Can he work under Dean Smith? And what about those 3 players in at Forest? What is going to happen there? Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit the subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Going to be at Preston Derby tonight on the Talk Norwich City channel tomorrow. Previewing Ipswich Norwich next week. Leeds versus Norwich. I'm at tomorrow night. First versus second. Potential game of the season if they both play to their form. Live streaming the review of the weekend on Sunday morning. And the Blue Monday podcast will be back talking Ipswich Sheffield Wednesday on Sunday night. Well worth subscribing, and it's free. What have you got to lose? I've got to go over there to the dentist. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.